Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Orlando, and today we're going to be talking about how do you save money, and in particularly we're talking about which items you should save money on. I get this question all the time about, Orlando, what do I save money on? How do I save money in this pandemic time? And also, a lot of people are trying to save money so they can invest it so they can make more money on the money that they invested. Before we get into any of that, guys, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and notification button. It really helps out my channel, but let's jump right into it. The first thing that we need to talk about is, and this isn't part of the 4 that I'm going to give, but you need to first start off with creating a budget. You need to create a budget. You need to use an Excel spreadsheet, go online, type into Google, figure out what your budget is. And budgets are fairly simple, right? You know, it's how much you bring in versus how much your expenses are. That's really the formula, right? So you just minus those two, and there you have how much money you have left over, and it allows you to see what your budget is. Now, one of the tips that I really give people is a lot of times when people are doing budgets, they aren't honest the way that they do the budget. They're trying to say, I don't spend this much, I bring in this much. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. No one's going to see the budget but you. And I know that's the most important part, is looking at a budget and going and being proud of that you don't overspend. But it's really important that you be truthful to yourself when you do a budget and put down the most accurate numbers when it comes to a budget. So let's jump into number 1. Number 1 is entertainment. Entertainment is one of those things where people spend a lot of money on it because they want to enjoy life. I get it. I like going to a movie. I like having my Netflix. I like Hulu, all these streaming entertainment, watching shows with my family, going to the movies, Six Flags, everything, right? All of that, right? You can do so much with entertainment. Your weekends can be packed. You don't want to be bored sitting at home, but can you afford it? That's the key. Can you afford it? And this is one of those things where people can really trim it back. Trim it back. If you're spending $2,000 a month on entertainment, trim that back. Even if you're spending $500 and you can't afford it, trim it back, okay? To a point to where you can afford it. A lot of people have this situation where they're feeling like they're missing out, like the fear of missing out on entertainment. You go to Facebook and you see people talking about new shows that you want to watch, and maybe you don't have that streaming service, so you buy the streaming service, you know, to watch that show so you can be part of the club. But guys, if you want to invest in yourself when it comes to your financial future, you have to make the tough choices and get rid of entertainment. Trim it back, do what you need to do. It's really important that you do this so that your budget will align to what you actually make. Okay, so number 2 is eating out. Food, right? However you want to say it. Eating out, food, going to restaurants. That is another one, right? A lot of people would put that in entertainment, right? But let's just put it separately, because you can cancel that out by going to the grocery store, buying your food at home and cooking your meals at home, saving you a ton of money. Let's just say you spend $300 a month going to, restaurants and whatnot. You probably spent $300 on your grocery bill. Why aren't you eating the food that you went to the store for to buy, cooking that, and then eating in instead of going out and spending an additional $300? That right there, if you add that up, you're saving what? What is that? Almost, $3,600 a year? $3,600 a year you're saving by canceling the eating out. Now, I'm not saying that you want to go cold turkey eating out. You don't have to do that, right? I understand it. Maybe you want to drop it down from $300 to $100. But either way, you're saving money, and you can take that additional money and invest it into stock, maybe put it in for an emergency fund, maybe put that into a fund where you're going to invest in real estate. There's just so many ways. Maybe invest it into a fund that for a business that you're going to start. But you need to figure out a way to trim back your budget so that you can afford to do things that will secure your financial future. And This is one of the things that is really big. So like I said, we talked about entertainment, we're talking about food. Those are big items that people really can do without. You're buying double when it comes to the food. You're going to the grocery store. Everybody goes to the grocery store. So I'm going to assume you go into the grocery store. Eating out, you're doubling up on something that is unnecessary. So go ahead, save some money on eating out and put that money somewhere where the money will work for you. So number 3, this is a big one, shopping. Shopping is one of those things where everyone can get caught up in that, right? You can just be browsing through Amazon and see some shiny object that you really need. It could be clothes. It could be, that new PS5, right? Or it could be that, some new electronic gadget, a tablet or a phone or whatever it may be, something that you know that you want, and you see it and you go, you know what, I'll go ahead and buy it and I'll deal with the price or the cost later. This is where we need self-control, guys. We need to make sure that you can afford it, and not just afford it in the fact that you can't afford it, but you'll have no money left over. You want to make sure that you can afford it within the budget that you allowed yourself, that will also allow you to save money and put that money elsewhere. So my vision on this is if you can trim this budget down by 30%, 40%, because you have to think about it, guys. The shopping aspect of it is that most of the time people shop because they're bored. They're not shopping because they really need the item, right? They want the item. So if you can trim that back by 30, 40%, save that money and then put it into something like I've been discussing in this video, and something that's worthwhile, that will extend and allow you to make more money, so that you won't be living paycheck to paycheck, or that you won't be overspending when you do a budget and you look at the budget and you're like, man, I'm overspending in this area. You want to get rid of that so that you have this extra money to do what I'm talking about. So this is another great area where you can save money. Okay, so number 4, this is a big one. It's your house. It's your home. It's where you live. It's your shelter. And I just want to make this clear. When I'm talking about your home or your apartment or your condo, wherever you live at, I'm talking about everything that goes in it. I'm talking about your utilities. I'm talking about your decor, your couches, whatever you do, all of that stuff that's in there. We want to shave down the amount that you spend on that. We want to shave that down by a 20% too. Let's take baby steps here. You want to shave this down so that you have some money to, once again, invest in things that you want. This is another great area to save money at. Why? Because you can control it. Instead of having the temperature to the right exact amount of where you feel extremely comfortable. Maybe you say, you know what, I'm not going to turn on the heat as often. I'm not going to turn on the air condition as often. I'll put on the blanket instead. Or however you want to go about it. Or maybe you're living in an apartment or a condo that is way more expensive than you should probably be in, right? And the rule of thumb that I like to use for this is about 20 to 25% of your income. So whatever your monthly income is, you take 20 to 25% of that, and that will show you exactly what you can afford wholly. We're not just talking about rent, okay? We're not just talking about a mortgage. We're talking about utilities and everything included in this 20 to 25% of your income. This will allow you to save the money that you need to save and to put the money somewhere else. This is a great tip that I always like to give anybody who asks me about financing, because a lot of people have this assumption that you take 50% of your income and that will show you exactly what you can afford for a home. And normally our house, our apartment, wherever you live, they're only including rent or the mortgage. They're not including the total cost of actually living in that house, condo, apartment, or whatever. They're just doing the rent. I'm telling you, that is a bad way to look at it, and that is a recipe for disaster. So once again, guys, if you add up all of these ways that I'm talking about, as far as saving money, you will be able to put a good nest egg away to be able to invest what you want. I hope that these saving tips will help you along your financial journey. Please comment at the bottom and let me know, what do you guys think about the saving tips that I gave you? How do you save on certain things? And once again, the personal budget has to be number one, because if you don't do a personal budget and you don't assess yourself truly, then all of this stuff really doesn't matter that I just told you to save on, because you really don't have a snapshot of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So once again, guys, please hit that subscribe button, notification button, like button. Let me know what you guys thought of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.